Hi everyone, welcome to the Kawasaki 1400 YouTube channel for South Africa. My name is Christoph and today I will be discussing the KIPASS system on the GTR1400, or as known in other parts of the world, the Concours 14. The system was designed in collaboration with Mitsubishi, and they had an algorithm for the encryption of the system called MISTI. Now, a later variant of MISTI was used in the 3G cell network configuration as well. So same technology that we are using here. I'm going to mention that there are two main types of models of this bike that I want to mention. The 2008-2009 model, and then the 2010 onwards. I'm going to make reference in the video between the two because there are slight differences in how the system operates and the kind of keys you get with it. Yeah, let's get going. Let's get started with the components and show you what's the system made of. There are quite a few components that make up the system. Obviously you have your ignition switch up front. That's got a key in it, almost permanently in it. There's a way that you can take it out by switching it to the FSS setting. FSS stands for fuel, seat and storage. So if you ride up to, say, a filling station, you don't need to switch it off and fiddle for the key to open up everything. You just switch it to FSS, pull out the key, and you can fill up your bike and off you go. So the ignition switch plays a big part in this. It also locks, so you can't turn the key or take the key out. That's all controlled by the controller unit under the seat. There are three controller units under the seat. A smart controller, a key controller, and an engine controller. So they are all interlinked with hardwired cable, and then obviously you have your FOBs that are RF connected, so radio frequency. These little guys jack to the controller unit under your seat to pick up that the key is near the bike and that you can start your bike. So these are all interconnected with a controller area network or a CAN bus, CAN connection, and the RF. So that's the two main connection methods on the bike. On your previous models, the 2008, 2009 models, when you got the bike, you got two of these fobs with your bike. When you have the later model, you got one of these and one of these small cards with your bike. Now, the difference between the two, and I'm going to show you how it works later on, the difference between the two, this one has got two types of antennas, two types of communication methods. The first one is a long-range antenna. That's about 1.5 meters. So you need to be at least 1.5 meters to your bike, and it will pick it up and you'll be able to get your bike going. The other one is it's got a short range RF connection that I'll show you. That's about 10 millimeters, and you need to press it against the ignition key to get it going. I'll show you how that works. This small card, this does not have the long range RF capability. So your bike does not pick this up when you are close to it. This only got this short 10 millimeter range that you need to press up against the ignition switch to get your bike going. I'll show you how that works. Before we do that, let's talk a little bit about the different fobs and the keys on the bike. Cool. As I've mentioned, you have this long range fob and a short range fob that you can use to get your bike going. Other than that, you have actual keys in the system as well. So let's quickly talk about those. You have obviously the big key that's in your ignition switch and should stay there. It's designed to stay there. Don't take it out. unless you want to fill up or get into your storage or open the seat. So that one stays there. In this big remote, the long range one, you also have a small key that you can get out. This key also opens up everything for you. So one key for everything. And then on this little card you also have a small key that's also cut to do everything. So also fuel, seat and storage. You will notice when you want to order these keys that there are two types. They call it a type and a B type. It's got to do with this little groove in the key. So is it on the left hand side or the right hand side of the key? So before ordering your keys, have a look at your existing key, the way it's cut, and then you'll be able to see on the microfiches which is it, the A or the B. So there are two part numbers for this small key, two part numbers for this key, and two part numbers for your main ignition switch or ignition key that goes up front. When you order the fobs, you get it like this, without a key. So you ordered it just like this, and you need to order your keys with it separately. I just took my keys to a local locksmith, and he matched it to my original key so that I can open everything, and it works fine. Talking about ordering new fobs, when you order this big one, this really expensive one, on your packaging will be an ID code. Don't throw the packaging away. That's the only place where you'll be able to find the ID code. And you need that ID code to program the fob to your bike. So if you don't have the packaging, this is useless. No one can program this for you. You might as well throw it away and go and order a new one. I checked on the inside on the PC board. There's no mention of the ID code. So don't throw your packaging away before you've registered it on your bike. This little guy does not come with the ID code. It's only the short range. You register it by just pressing it against the ignition switch, and it picks it up. Talking about registering it, you need the KDS Kawasaki software, KDS, to program the bike. My local dealer was kind enough to order the correct software and cabling and invited me to the shop so that I can do my own programming. So they plugged up everything for me, and I started matching all my keys. You have to have all your keys present when you do the programming. If a key is not present, the system will deassociate that key from your ECU. So make sure you have all your keys with you, even these small short range RF key. Make sure you have everything with you, because you program and key everything at once while you're at the bike. This one, as I mentioned, have the two RF communication types, the long range and the short range. You have to program both. By just programming this key as the bike picks it up, you won't have the short range RF communications set up to start your bike if this battery runs out. So just remember, this is only one registration. These are two registrations. There are also only 6 slots in the software available for keys. And once you've exhausted those slots, you won't be able to add new keys. So the older bikes, 2008, 2009, they came with 2 of these, which means that you have 4 slots available for 4 new keys. The newer bikes came with 1 of these, so they have 5 slots available. You can delete these little guys on the software, but you can't delete these. You can just disassociate them. So they stay on the bike. They are just not used. So they occupy one of your slots so that you can't use it. So yes, that's it that I can tell you about the keys, the actual fobs and the keys inside, and the master key, and how you program it. Unfortunately, I don't have KDS software to show you the actual programming. It's at my local dealer, but it's not like you use it every day, and they should know what they're doing. If they are registering this big fob, then actually need to take out the battery to be able to register the short range connectivity on the bike. That's the keys and the fobs, and next I'll show you how the system actually works. Okay, so let's see how the system works. As I've mentioned, you can't start the bike or activate it or turn the key in any way if a fob is not present, even if you have this key. So how it works is the ECU under the seat constantly sends out a signal asking if there's a key in sight. And as soon as a key comes in range, the key answers, yes, I'm here, and then you'll be able to start the bike. At the same time, it checks that the ignition serial number are also registered on the software, on the ECU, and it also asks the engine ECU to turn on the ignition and the fuel pump so that you can start the bike. Let me quickly get my key. So now that I have my key with me, the bike will recognize the key, and all I need to do is press once on the ignition switch. It tells me I can turn it, and you can start your bike and ride off. That's as easy as it is. As I've mentioned before, you can put it in FSS to pull out the key. It also switches the bike off. You can pull the key out to open all your fuel tank and all the other stuff, and just start it up again when you're done. So that's how the big fob works. Needs to be within 1.5 meter range of your bike before it picks it up, and then you can ride off. So let's take a look at that little small card fob. You get that. So this is a small fob that I've mentioned. This one has no long distance RF signal in it, so even though it's with the bike, you can't start it, it does not pick it up. The only way that you can use this is by pressing it against the ignition switch. The way you do that is you'll see that on the little card it has Kawasaki on it with a little arrow in the corner. So ensure that the Kawasaki points to the front of the bike, and just put that little arrow on the ignition switch, and you'll be able to start your bike with this little card that way. So no long range, you need to press it up against the ignition switch. I'm going to quickly show you how the big fob works in the same way. I just need to remove the battery, so I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I'm back with my big fob now. I've removed the battery, so the bike won't respond now even though it is in range. But you can still start the bike with this using the low range or the short range RF capability. The way you do that is you remove the key, and you'll see that indentation that it's got nicely fits on your ignition switch at the back. So again, with Kawasaki to the front, you just place it there, and then you'll be able to start up your bike, even though this does not have a battery in it. The battery in this is a CR2025 coin battery. The manual says it lasts about 5 years. As you operate the bike, it will tell you on the display that the battery is running low, so that you can replace the battery before it's too late. If it's completely run out, you can still start it as I've shown you, as long as you have this with you. Yeah, so that's the short range RF capability of your big remote. Another cool feature that Kawasaki built into the system is that you can start your bike even though you don't have a key with you after you've ridden it. So, say for instance, you started your bike at home, you went for a ride but left this at home, you have no fob with you. You have like 5 or 10 seconds, well, yeah, mine is not 10 seconds, it's more like 5 seconds, where you can still switch on the bike after you've ridden it. So you'll be able to ride your bike, and if you switch it off and you realize you don't have a key with you, you can quickly switch it back on again within those 5 seconds. If you wait longer than the 5 seconds, you won't be able to get it going again. The ignition locks so that you can't turn the key anymore, and you won't be able to start it. I hope you can hear it. I'm going to switch it off, and within 5 seconds you should hear a click. So now it's locked, you won't be able to turn it again. You need to have your switch with you. So that's the basic workings of the system. As soon as a key is in range, or you press the key against the ignition switch, it confirms via the ECU under the seat if that key is registered. It then gets confirmation from the key ECU to switch on the ignition so that you can push it and turn it. And then it also asks the engine ECU to supply the fuel by turning on the fuel pump and switching on the ignition so that you can start your bike. And that's the basics of how it works. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope that sheds some light on the workings of the system and how you can more effectively use it on your bike. If you have any questions, post them in the comments feed. I'll see if I can answer them. I don't have all the answers, but I'll see if I can find out. I really enjoy the system. I enjoy the bike. It feels like it's very secure. Wherever I park it, people will need to pick it up. And as you all know, she's a heavy lady, so that will also be tough to do. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button so that I can know to make more of these, and also let me know what you want me to make. Anything on the bike. Cool. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.